United States Navy Aviation. Naval Aviators fly high-performance aircraft from aircraft carriers and deploy all over the world. It's a dangerous job that requires a very high level of skill. My father was a naval aviator. But when their ship pulls into port, just what do these highly trained naval aviators do for fun? When they made port calls in the Philippines, they hung plaques on the wall of the local officers' club. Lots and lots and lots and lots of plaques. After World War II, one of the largest U.S. foreign military bases was Subic Bay Naval Station in the Philippines, and its adjacent air base, Naval Air Station Cubi Point. Subic Bay Naval Station was the U.S. Navy's premier ship repair facility in the Western Pacific. Cubi was an airfield carved out of the jungle and built into the waters of Subic Bay. It served as an aviation repair facility for the U.S. Navy, primarily for the 7th Fleet. The Cubi Point facility was so large, supercarriers could dock next to the runway. You went to Cubi primarily to get your airplane fixed. While you were at Cubi, and if you were someone who flew things, you could go to the Cubi Point Officers Club to get something to eat or drink, and you could hang out with other pilots while you did it. Back in the 1950s, one of the visiting Navy squadrons decided to leave their mark on the Officers Club by hanging a commemorative plaque on the wall. This was easy to do because the local economy had many skilled woodworkers who could carve wood into just about anything you wanted. And you could get furniture made, knickknacks, curios. And one of the common practices among the aviation community was to commission a carver to make a copy of the airplane you flew. This is a copy of my dad's plane that has his markings. It was carved in 1977. It's made of wood. But those wood carvers made plaques too. And the customers in this case were Navy pilots, a group of people who are not known for humility and are well known for competitiveness. Things got out of hand very quickly. So the next visiting squadron hung up a larger plaque. No one is going to have a better plaque than us. And the next visiting squadron after that one hung up an even larger plaque.
Begun.
The Plaque War.
Has.
Soon, the visiting squadrons began to commission the woodworkers to build more ornate plaques, more color, more intricacy, and of course, larger. One squadron tried to outdo the other, and the Officers Club walls soon filled with hundreds of plaques. Word went out into the fleet that this competition was underway, and the Cubi Officers Club became legendary as the legendary plaque bar. And this went on for nearly 40 years.
Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Actually, it was a volcano, and it was no laughing matter. In 1991, a nearby volcano named Mount Pinatubo erupted, releasing millions of tons of ash over the Philippines. And Typhoon Yunya hit the Philippines at exactly the same time. Typhoon Yunya added torrential rainfall to Mount Pinatubo's ash, and things got pretty terrible in the Subic Bay area. Mount Pinatubo is only 20 miles away from Subic Bay and dumped huge amounts of ash on the surrounding area, including Subic Bay Naval Station and Naval Air Station Cubi Point, as well as the Navy base I once lived on, Naval Communications Station San Miguel. We also had a carved plaque. At the Subic Bay Naval Bases, more than 150 buildings collapsed or experienced significant structural damage from the 1-2 punch of Pinatubo and Yunya. 6 to 14 inches of wet ash covered literally everything at Subic Bay and Cubi Point. All non-essential personnel and dependents had already been evacuated, and the military began working to clean up the mess. But it was a huge job, and there were also political considerations for rental fees paid by the United States to the Philippines for both bases. After much political wrangling, one thing led to another, and in 1992, all American bases in the Philippines were closed.
I know. You're wondering what happened to all the plaques.
The Cubi Point Officers Club was packed up, plaques and all, and shipped to Pensacola, Florida. Pensacola is the home of Naval Aviation and is where all naval aviators have their initial training. It's also where the Blue Angels are based, and it is known by all U.S. naval aviators as heaven. Also there is the world-class National Museum of Naval Aviation. They have a snack bar.
And that snack bar didn't have any plaques, but now they had all the plaques from the Philippines. So they began putting them up all over the inside of the snack bar. It filled entire rooms, and they still had more, so they went down the hallways and into the bathrooms, and even in some cases onto the ceiling. And that's where all those plaques are today.
We're at the Cubi Officers Club at the Naval Aviation Museum in Pensacola, Florida. I ate here back in the 70s when we were stationed in the Philippines, and we came to check it out and find my dad's plaques. So all of that is right in here at the National Museum of Naval Aviation. That's right, they liked all those plaques so much that they built an entire aviation museum around them. You can come see it anytime you want for free. So that's how that works. Now, I know it's kind of strange that they would build such a giant museum around my dad's plaque, but he is that awesome. So I hope your dad is that awesome. Mine has a museum.
I hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to be making other videos in the near future covering how we build all the cool stuff that we build and how we did it and how all the parts go together and where we came up with the ideas. But for now, I thought it would be fun to tell you about the Navy's plaque war. It's a great story and it's a great snack bar. They've got great food there. But if you want to see new videos, go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell there, and you'll see what we come up with in the future. It's going to be great. Until then, I'll see you next time.